The sun was setting over the bustling streets of New York City, casting a warm orange glow over the concrete jungle. Amidst the crowds of people rushing to and fro, a young black girl named Maya stood out. She was dressed in a bright yellow sundress, her hair tied back in a ponytail, and a look of determination on her face. But despite her confident appearance, Maya was in trouble. She had just received a call from her mother, telling her that their apartment had been vandalized and all of their belongings had been stolen. Maya's mother was frantic, and Maya knew she had to act fast. As she stood on the sidewalk, trying to think of what to do next, a gruff voice interrupted her thoughts. "Hey, kid, you okay?" Maya turned to see a homeless beggar standing behind her. He was dressed in tattered clothing, his hair was matted and dirty, and his eyes had a sunken, tired look. But despite his rough appearance, there was something kind in his eyes that made Maya feel at ease. "Yeah, I'm fine," Maya said, trying to brush off her worries. "Just a little stressed out, that's all." The beggar nodded sympathetically. "I know how that feels," he said. "My name is Joe, by the way." "I'm Maya," she replied, smiling slightly. Joe nodded and gestured to a nearby bench. "Why don't you sit down and tell me what's going on?" he said. "Sometimes it helps to talk about it." Maya hesitated for a moment, but there was something about Joe's kind eyes that made her trust him. She sat down on the bench and told him everything, about the vandalized apartment, the stolen belongings, and her frantic mother. Joe listened intently, his eyes filled with compassion. When Maya finished talking, he nodded thoughtfully. "I think I can help you," he said. "I've been around this city a long time, and I know a few people who might be able to assist you." Maya's eyes widened in surprise. "Really?" she asked. "How can you help me?" Joe smiled, revealing a missing tooth. "Let's just say I have a few connections," he said. "I'll make a few phone calls, see what I can do." Maya nodded, feeling a glimmer of hope for the first time all day. She watched as Joe pulled out a battered cell phone and began to dial. As they waited for Joe's contacts to respond, Maya asked him about his life on the streets. Joe told her about how he had lost his job, his home, and his family, and how he had ended up on the streets. Maya listened, horrified, but also deeply moved. She realized that Joe was not just a homeless beggar, but a human being with a story and a heart. After a few minutes, Joe's phone rang. He answered it, listened for a moment, and then hung up. "Okay, kid," he said to Maya. "I've got some good news. My friend has a vacant apartment in a building nearby. He's willing to let you and your mother stay there for a few days until you get back on your feet." Maya's eyes widened in amazement. "That's incredible," she said. "Thank you so much, Joe." Joe smiled and shrugged. "It's no big deal," he said. "Just pay it forward, kid. Help someone else out when you can." Maya nodded, feeling a sense of gratitude and wonder. She realized that even in the darkest of times, there was always hope, always kindness to be found. As they walked to the apartment building, Maya turned to Joe and asked, "How can I repay you for your kindness?" Joe thought for a moment before responding. "You know, kid, I've been on the streets for a long time. I've lost count of the number of days, weeks, months. But what I really miss is human connection. So, if you want to repay me, just come visit me sometime. Talk to me, listen to me. That's all I need." Maya nodded, feeling a lump form in her throat. She knew that she would never forget Joe, the homeless beggar who had helped her in her time of need. Over the next few days, Maya and her mother stayed in the vacant apartment, courtesy of Joe's friend. They were able to get back on their feet, thanks to the kindness of strangers. And Maya never forgot Joe's words. "Pay it forward, kid. Help someone else out when you can." She made it a point to volunteer at a local soup kitchen, where she met many people who were struggling, just like Joe. Years later, Maya would become a successful businesswoman, known for her kindness and generosity. And she never forgot the homeless beggar who had helped her in her time.